All right, you heard it right here. Going down in the Toyota zone. We're back, the Action Sports Show 2017 SEMA. Myself, Dan McGranahan, the Zulu Warrior, Grant Langston, Scott Nunez, and our guest right now that we're excited to bring to you, the one and only Andy Bell. What's happening, Andy?
Well, you guys got me here. I've been hauling butt all morning in my rental car trying to make it here, so
he texted me,
hang out.
I'll be there around 12. Oh, that's cool. You're close. No, I'm in Barstow. So I was like, oh, okay, well, there's no reason to make it that fast.
I can always make it.
Yeah. There's a carpool lane. I think you use it to get your
I'm sure you did what every good Canadian citizen does when they're visiting America and obeyed all the laws.
You know I did.
Yeah.
Hey, I had to rush to meet my buddy GL. I never get to see him anymore, so
It's
I was
been
excited.
a while.
I know. I never see you. You're all famous on TV and stuff.
I was going to say the same about you.
All right, we're both washed up as hell because
Yeah,
that's where you
there
go.
we go.
When,
Yeah.
when you can't do it anymore, you talk about it.
Yeah. When I
you two
used to be
sensations.
fast, man, I used to be fast.
So I wanna-
GL is still very fast. Don't
Yes.
kid yourself.
Yeah, very fast.
But Andy is not.
But I want to say that
I never was.
Whips and
as
flips.
fast as I can remember. But I just want to say I want to thank Andy for coming out and taking the time. He's always been cool with the Toyota family, and it's always a good time we have in an event. He's great with the crowds, great with the team, and we're grooming him. Well, not in the literal sense, obviously.
I was going to
that
say,
hair,
I'm
you know,
doing a very good
Like,
job.
you're going to stand behind him and like braid him right
Yeah,
now?
no.
What do you mean?
Hey, we got a little surprise for you. And you hear a zipper, But no, but it's
Don't
been
get Andy
awesome.
started.
Yeah, I know. It's been awesome. He's got such cool projects and stuff he's doing right now that it's one of those deals where he's like, what do you want me to do? Dude, just get up and talk. The Arctic Sky thing, which I'll let him talk about, is just a phenomenal. You're up for awards on that thing already too, right? I mean,
Yeah, we won a bunch of stuff, and it premiered in Tribeca Film Festival, went to a bunch of festivals, which is different for us because we usually make cool Toyota content, so, and I don't surf, so to do a surf film that's a documentary and premiere Tribeca was pretty cool. And
yeah, that's way cool.
we didn't win there because we're not that cool, but we won a bunch of other stuff.
But how does that work? You get an invite, like saying, hey, or how do they tell you that you're invited to Tribeca? I mean, because that's pretty cool.
Well, usually they told us there are 55,000 people entered Tribeca. We were the only film of the 83 that didn't enter and got reached out to be there, which was pretty cool. We didn't even bother with entry. We're like, whatever, let's not do it. And then, so they reached out to us, and there we were.
So you don't have to submit it or anything. It's just, or do you still have to submit?
You really should submit it if
Really?
you want to get in. That never happens. We just got really lucky.
Oh, that's cool. But that's got to be kind of
You
cool
just
too.
produced a really cool product, and it caught the attention of some people that pay a lot of attention to the details, to the creative edge, and to the people that are willing to go out and explore and find the gold mines that are out there. And that's what you guys did with this movie. It's visually stunning. Describe it to people, though, because we're talking about what we've seen, and I don't think that everybody here has really seen what this movie is.
Well, it's just, what it is, it's a story of six surfers and one of the most badass professional photographers in the world, Chris Burkhardt, going off in search of perfect waves in Iceland, which is, those usually don't go together.
Here's the deal. Like, okay, I get it. Success. Oh, no, that's a bad idea.
Well, and for some reason, I only like to be part of bad ideas usually. I kind of made a career out of it. So
you
this
seriously
just
could
sounded
maybe
normal.
change your brand of bad ideas.
Usually bad ideas turn out to be really good stories.
Yes, it was, and this was no exception. So we ended up these guys tried to find this wave that was off the western fjords of Iceland that no one had ever been to.
Hold on a second. You want to describe what a fjord is? Was that a Canadian word? What is that?
Yeah, it's like
what are you talking
I
about?
think it's like
Is
a
that
bay in
field?
Iceland. It's
a
like
bay.
a bay. I think someone's got to look it up, but I
It
think
is
a
now.
fjord is like a bay or something. So they went to this
It's
place
not like
that
cattle?
no one had ever surfed before. They end up getting turned around by the biggest storm in 25 years in Iceland.
Wow.
They come back and I guess as a consolation prize decide, hey, instead of surfing that wave, why don't we surf under the northern lights and try to do something that's never been done before?
No, that's way too crazy.
And somehow it happened.
So when you're videoing the Northern Lights, because I've never seen them, is it like, I don't even know how to understand, how do you get the angles? Because the lights do what they do.
The lights do what they do.
You can't move the wave around.
The wave moves itself. I
Right.
mean, it's like you're underneath a river of. If you've never seen it, it should be a bucket list thing. It's the most incredible
In
thing.
person, it's got to be insane.
It's insane, and we actually shot a Toyota commercial under the Northern
Yeah,
Lights
that's right.
in Alaska a couple years ago, which was really cool. But yeah, realistically, any video camera out on the market will not shoot in pitch black and shoot the northern lights. So there's a little bit of trickery we did. There is a new camera out by Sony, actually, the A7S, that will shoot in the pitch black, and that did help us a lot.
Gotcha. So you guys bring some pretty nice equipment out for being hillbillies. You know that?
I am definitely hillbilly. I just try not to hire hillbillies.
Okay, gotcha.
Then I can just keep looking like this and let the real people do the work.
You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You just have to hire the smartest guy.
That's what I heard that a long time ago, and I really, looking around me, I feel that, well, for once I actually feel like the smartest guy in the room. That doesn't happen a lot.
I was going to say, it's...
That's great. We appreciate that a lot, man, because that really brings us down.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm also here to sign Antron Brown posters if anyone wants an Andy Bell autograph on an Antron Brown.
AB.
We look a lot alike.
Looks like looking in a mirror.
Tell me about some of the amazing Toyota projects that you've been part of. So you've created several of the photo shoots, Camp Tacoma Hotel Tacoma, and you just got back from Baja. Talk to me. What's going on? Did they just hand you the keys and say, hey, go have as much fun as you can and make video? Because that's all I'm seeing.
Yeah, from the outside, if we just cut out about like 6 months of pre-planning, that's basically what we do. We grab the keys and go. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. We just actually had the 2018 line of TRD
Watch
Pros.
Out for Bob Walker.
That guy's still around?
That's great.
Hi, Bob. Yeah, so we took the 2018 lineup of TRD Pros, which nobody has seen, and they're code red, so I can't even show you a picture that I didn't take of them.
Okay.
And we torture tested them down in the southern tip of Baja for the last 7 days. I just got back like 2 days ago. There's some pretty cool innovations on especially the Tacoma this year that I don't think I'm allowed to talk about, so I won't.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
I can neither confirm nor deny what comes as an option on that truck.
Excellent. Okay.
But I can say I did actually answer everybody's most burning question down there, and maybe not in the way I should have, but everyone wants a diesel Tacoma, right?
Sure.
Well, I made a diesel Tacoma.
Oh, whoa. Okay, really? You heard it here right here first. What did we
Diesel
make?
Tacoma? Yeah, I put diesel in a gas Tacoma while we were in Mexico.
I was about to say,
hilarious.
Did you just screw something up?
Yeah. Well, one of the kids on the shoot didn't know the rule about if you put diesel in a gas can, you write diesel on it.
Yeah.
That is like an absolute rule.
Sounds like you're blaming somebody else, but go on.
Totally. Yeah, well, I put diesel in the Tacoma. and it ran pretty good still.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's surprising.
So, yeah, we had a good time down there in Baja with those TRD Pros, and we brought them all back in one piece. See, that's the worst part of the shoot is we have hand-built prototypes.
Yeah.
And one-offs, and we're told to make them look awesome and drive them as hard as we can, but if we break them, we're fired forever. So it's kind of like this difficult, okay, make it look awesome, but don't screw it up.
Yeah. That for you would be a particular challenge because you're looking for the limits. That's why people hire you.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we hire him.
We talked about that with BJ Baldwin, about you helping produce the Recoil 4 and the benefits of having someone with your eye and your willingness to set up risk.
I don't know if he liked that. What did he say about that? Because I don't know if he liked me scouting for him.
Well, he
said a few things that you might need to be aware of.
See if they're true. We asked him, like, okay, when you do that, like when you did the other Recoil, then this one where you did the streets, how much advance notice do you have to let people know? Because he says in Cuba, they were pretty stringent on like when you guys got there and all this kind of stuff, and how much time ahead of time? Because he says Andy will tell me something like, "Don't worry, it's only what Dan said earlier, that little river jump you made," and BJ right away said that was not a little river jump, you know. But he's saying like how do you go and scout like when do you tell him like okay we can do this because it's a lot of that stuff he said was just one shot.
Yeah, well we did a pre-scout about 3 months before the Recoil shoot.
Okay.
But he's used to having like production company dudes scouting jumps for him, and then he sends me. Well, I sent myself.
Yeah.
So production guys keep it corporate. Andy Bell's like, I think you can make that.
In
fact, I'm pretty confident.
You heard me because that's exactly because I look at it like I could hit that on a motorcycle, or at least GL could. I probably couldn't, but I think I know a guy that could. So I looked at his trophy truck like it was a motorcycle, and like, okay, I think that could work. No, I'd never been around a trophy truck in that way, like in its out of its element. Like I've been around them in the dirt and the Baja and stuff. It's totally different. When you have a trophy truck ripping down the narrow streets of a Havana, Cuba, it's a completely different world. And so I was looking at it like a moto guy, not a production guy, and I think I scared the crap out of him a few times.
Well,
I think.
But that's what you bring to the table.
It was scary. Like he said, it was intimidating. And he goes, the other thing too was, he said, it wasn't a huge incline, but the landing had a slight incline. He goes, when you're strapped in that truck, he goes, you feel it even more so.
I can't believe what BJ was able to do in that Tundra trophy truck. I mean, I was blown away the whole time, honestly. It was mind-blowing.
But, I mean, like, going up, when you set up some of that stuff, like you said, like, we only got one shot at this man, and that's it. I mean, that's kind of the way he made it sound.
There was times. I mean, I knew there was 2 jumps he would only do once. Like, there was some, like the neighborhood jump, he actually did about 6-7 times, because you're going blind at 100 miles an hour
straight
up a hill, and you don't know what's over there. I mean, and it was so skinny, too. It was really scary.
So heavy.
So for him to do that, like, he was able to do that over and over. But the river jump and a couple others, it was like a one and done.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. He is a bad mofo. That's what I will say, because and the downhill stair gap, the triple stair down. I mean, that was gnarly. I didn't even want to do that on a dirt bike. I just told him I would do it, and totally called him like I totally called him a little baby.
Totally had to pressure him.
I did. I peer pressured him a lot.
Yeah.
Like every time he was looking scared, I was like, dude, do I have to do it for you? Don't be a baby.
Yeah.
He said something about the beach that the car jump was done out is a beach that you frequent a lot.
Yes, it is actually.
Yeah.
Well, just in my
Speedo.
Just in my Speedo.
And the background shots were assembled by you and one on.
A bunch of your extras.
I had some friends oil up for it.
That's great. Guy.
Actually, GL was in the background.
Not surprised.
That was an oil guy.
But it looks like I said, it looks like we were asking him, like, that was one of the main questions people asked me, like, well, how do they close off the streets? I mean, it's freaking Cuba.
It's Cuba. It was very, if it was the States, it would have been completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just importing almost $1 million trophy truck to a country with a trade sanction from the U.S. on it.
And he was saying even months. The cabs were like 55, 56 Chevys too.
Oh yeah. It's a very crazy place, and the whole. I mean, I guess I can say it now. The whole shoot depended on us smuggling 2 barrels of VP race gas in underneath a yacht.
Wow.
And everything was there, except you can't temporarily import fuel because it's a consumable. Yeah, they didn't have the right fuel there, and I get a call from BJ's dad one day. He's like, Bell, that truck is not starting unless you have the right fuel for it. I'm like, yes, sir, Mr. Bobby Baldwin. Yes, sir. Yes. And he, so we ended up having to I found a yacht captain in Key West who
He's like, I do that all the time.
A small sum.
Is that all you wanted to smuggle?
No, not a small sum of money. Smuggled it in
we don't need to bring
yacht.
anything back? Because I've never actually smuggled that direction.
I don't know what actually else he smuggled in, but I know he got 2 barrels of VP in there.
See, don't
ask, don't tell.
Yeah, I would usually sketch getting that thing back, that they wouldn't let him bring it back.
I didn't care from that point, because I told Bobby, I'm like, it may take 6 months, but it'll come back. They're like, well, we don't need it right now. We don't need it right away. So I'm like, okay. Nice. I'm like, we will get it back. It's insured. It'll just may take 6 months.
Worst case scenario, you put it back on the yacht, right?
Yeah, well, we just go do recoil 5, 6, and 7 there, too, and
Keep
it's already
going.
there.
What made you decide in Cuba? We didn't have a damn choice.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have a choice. I picked it up when Cuba was already someone's brainchild, and I tried to talk him out of it. Honestly, for this one, I tried to talk him out of it a few times because I knew what it was going to entail, and it was worse than I thought. But
he was saying it was pretty bad. He was saying he said he kept saying about the food.
He didn't like the food.
He didn't like the food, obviously.
But he liked the pina coladas.
He likes pina coladas.
I did. I heard how Andy said
I
that.
just had that song queued up.
What are you talking about?
What? So what do you got next? So you got all these projects that have wrapped. You always got 10 things going. So I know you're working ahead of the game. What's next on the horizon?
We're doing some fun stuff. We have, we're shooting some stuff with Bilstein this week, actually, out in the desert. And then we roll right into an Arctic launch for 7 days. And then right into a nice little Lexus shoot out at Miller Motorsports. And then some Adidas and LA Lakers stuff with one of their new, Brandon Ingram, if you're a Lakers fan, one of their new guys. We're doing something with him and Cedric the Entertainer right after.
Cool. Nice.
A little like Anthony Bourdain-ish shoot with Cedric the Entertainer and Brandon Ingram. So that should be fun.
All right. Right on.
Trying
Man,
to stay busy. Trying to be big time like you guys.
I know. We can't keep up with it, man.
Jeez. Are you going to go down to Baja for any adventure this go
No,
around?
I got too much work.
Going on.
Too much work. And you know what? I've only done it a few times, like 4. I think I've raced it 4 times, and it's great. And I was lucky enough to be able to win in the TRD Pro Tundra one year in stock full, which was pretty damn cool.
That's awesome.
For its introduction, we raced it in stock full. Not quite as fast as BJ.
Close.
But yeah, so for special projects like that, I get down and race. But, I'm not looking to start a secondary professional career at like 65 years old.
Been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You say that, but then you walk up and you tell us that you put yourself in a stunt gig as the stuntman just last week.
Yeah, every once in a while, I guess you get that itch. You're like, can I still do anything cool? And I type emails so well these days, you would never believe at how good at I have like blisters on the end of my fingers from how fast I type. So yeah, every once in a while, I guess it's good to get that little rush. But I don't ride anymore. I'm so far out of it. You know what? I just hang out and try
I
to
saw
work.
a picture of you at a barbecue at your house. I think you put it on your Instagram or something. Doing gainers off the roof
Off
still.
the roof, that was
I don't think you've changed that much.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, every once in a while, something like that happens.
That was some classic Andy Bell.
Well, my 5-year-old daughter's like, Dad, it'd be cool if you did that. I was like, really? Fine.
I want to disappoint the kids.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to disappoint her.
Do you ever
That's
get to that
awesome.
point,
That's awesome.
like you said with that stunt, you're like, yeah, I think I've got this, and then you get there and you go, what the hell did I get myself into?
I was just
Like,
telling
what
you.
was I
You're
thinking?
just telling us that
I was
story.
just telling you that I totally got myself in that situation. I was like, God, could I pretend I got food poisoning right before the stunt and I can't go? I was thinking up all these excuses in my head, okay, I got a hangnail. I was like, what would Josh Hansen say right now?
The VP race gas didn't arrive.
Yeah, the VP.
He just wouldn't respond. He just stopped responding.
He would stop texting you
he
back.
just go dark.
I really, every once in a while, I open my mouth with the 20-year ago Andy Bell responding, and then I realize I'm 41 and fat. And just
Not fat, though. You're fit right now, man. The fittest
Fat.
I've seen you in a long time.
Oh, it must be a slimming shirt.
Guns out.
Ooh, GL. It's getting frisky over here.
You must have a gym at the office there. Where you're based out of Venice area, Santa Monica?
We're in Long Beach.
City of Long
I live in
Beach.
Long Beach, and the office is in Long Beach. And you know what? I do not have a gym, but I do have a kegerator about one step from my desk. So I do a lot of 12-ounce curls, sometimes 16s.
Gotcha.
And, high reps.
Are they bottomless?
Yeah. High reps, low weight,
Low
just
impact.
That's the
key.
trick.
That's the key.
Gotcha.
At this age, it is the key.
Gotcha. I get it.
Low impact, of course.
Of course. I mean, there is an impact, usually right around here.
Well, shoots, man. You watching any? What sports are getting you excited these days? I mean, you did a little surf. Might have got you excited about surf. You watching the WSL? Is it still moto and
I love watching
Supercross?
this. I love watching GL and his partner on motocross. You know what?
I didn't even pay him for that.
No,
one.
hey, you know what I have to say?
But I will send you that $20 when
Yeah.
I get home.
The check must have cleared.
Yeah.
I'm always stoked when I see good guys end up getting that job and
Sure.
stuff. So I'm really stoked to
Thanks, bud.
when the first time I saw you on it a few years ago, I was like, yeah, GL, it's so
Yeah.
awesome. So that's fun. I obviously love Supercross. I never go. I go once every couple of years just because, I don't know, busy, I guess. I don't know. But I kind of miss it's
camaraderie.
weird. When I
Yeah.
go, I went to every Supercross for 13 years, let's say. And, the truck drivers, the mechanics, everyone, it's like a traveling circus of family. And then you just don't see those people anymore. And then they pop up somewhere in your life. You're like, no way.
Yeah,
Remember that
yeah.
one time that I rode I don't know, through the living room of your guy's house and like did a burnout in the backyard and lit it on fire?
Yeah.
Because that did happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, it probably happened more than once.
Probably, especially with Kurt Nickel.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay, give me this, Andy. If you got handed the keys to a new Tundra and your job was to build the Andy Bell edition for SEMA next year, and it doesn't have any kegerators in it, what would define your build?
Wow.
Wow, that's getting heavy, man.
That's heavy. You know what? I'm so unexciting these days. It'd probably have 2 car seats and probably a rooftop tent. And if I couldn't have a kegerator, then a really big cooler. And a built-in cooler. And you know what? I honestly, the Tundra is my favorite. It would have to be the TRD Pro Tundra because I love that thing.
Yeah.
It's the best sounding vehicle of all ever.
That exhaust note.
It just, I don't know how they got that note, but it's so good. And it's just powerful too. So
Right.
I had a Tundra for 6 years. Now I got a Sequoia. You know, got
Grandpa.
Grandpa. Hey, it's one better than the Sienna for me, but
Yeah.
I'm one step
You're
away
one step
from a
away.
Sienna.
You're real close.
We're going to have to put you in timeout here in a minute. There's no Sienna for you. You're not ready for that. I'm not ready for that.
You're
to
not
see you in
ready.
a Sienna.
Actually, I would like to see that in a way.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I had for a while? I borrowed a Summer Rain Prius C and drove that for a while. And I was bigger than the car.
Yeah.
I was bigger than the car. But it was really nice for parking in Long Beach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I felt really manly.
Yeah.
But someone would probably like honk at me and be all mad, and then I'd get out and be like, ah.
Hey, raise your hand right now if you own and drive a Prius like it's a NASCAR every single day. Right here.
Yeah. Oh, this guy
right
there you
there.
go.
That's my dog right there, too.
Yeah.
We get it done.
Hey, you know what? I would do
I will
it.
run you off the road in my Prius all day long.
You know what? I did see the best bumper sticker ever the other day walking through a parking lot. It said, "Cool Prius" in quotation marks, and then underneath said "No one."
Yeah, I've seen that one, yeah.
It does make
I
me
make
laugh.
it cool.
Yes, you do.
Hey,
I
so
got double chirpers last night, by the way.
Did you
Grant
really?
can attest.
Double
chirpers
He did.
in the Prius.
Really?
With
Yes,
his
dude.
foot down and the brake pedal on.
There was a little power braking. Don't worry about that. There's the power button. That makes all the difference.
That makes
and
the power?
a nice like lightly
Warp speed.
moist cement corner.
Ooh.
Those things will really help too because they screech real loud. I'm giving away my secrets.
Yeah. Hey, so I got a question. Out of all the shoots, I mean, you've done Baja, Vietnam, all those. What is one of the favorite ones you've done for the Tundra shoot? Or Toyota
You know,
shoot?
each one of those specific ones has been pretty fun. You know, we raced the Baja 1000 the first year, then we went to Chile, and I climbed a bunch of volcanoes in the Tundra. Or,
I thought that was
a
radical.
taco.
You got a little radical in that.
That
thing.
I scared
I heard about that.
the worst scared I've ever been in a vehicle was me sideways on the side of a volcano in Chile in a really terrible situation. I
Right.
actually tried to walk away from the truck and just leave it, but no one else would go get it. So
But you were telling me cool stories about the Vietnam trip, too.
yeah, and then Vietnam was, then we did Alaska, the Arctic Circle, which was really fun. And then Vietnam last year, my buddy Roland Sands and Jamie Bestwick, and we drove 10 days north to south in Vietnam and had the whole Top Gear crew, UK Top Gear crew there filming it. And we just had a really good buddy road trip and just happened to have a crew of 73 people filming it. But just a nice little
73 people.
just nice little quiet romantic time through little
Those
bromance.
guys run with such a huge crew.
It was a big
crazy.
crew. We had a big crew,
Yeah.
and we had to cover a lot of ground in a very short time.
That was crazy. That was a cool look. The video from that came out awesome, man.
Yeah, it was great. We had a lot of fun. So it was.
Wasn't there a Hawaii recently too?
Yeah, we went to Hawaii with old Mr. Pab, Cameron
you took
Steele.
Cam to Hawaii.
That was fun. It's always a good time with Cam. And God, we've done some fun stuff. We really put. My favorite thing is we really put the TRD pros, especially through their paces.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the year that I raced the Tundra in stock full, we pre-ran the 1,300-mile Peninsula Run course in a box stock TRD Pro off a dealer showroom
Right.
floor.
Nice.
That's a
It was
gnarly
box
drive.
stock, 1,300 miles of race course at
All
race
course.
pace.
Oh.
All race course at race pace.
You
We
literally
had
drove
one-
it from the dealership.
Yeah,
from
no,
there, right? I
honestly, we
remember.
picked
Yeah,
it up
you
at
did. I
dealership
remember
in San Diego
Yeah.
and drove it across the border. Did all 1,300 miles. We had one flat tire the entire way.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we hammered it. And
Yeah,
it was
I
perfect.
don't question that.
Then you brought it back and tried to sell it as a demo?
Yeah, probably. No, it's new.
Yeah.
Lightly used.
Lightly used by a grandma.
Never been raced.
Grandma driven.
So we were lucky enough to get the 1000 truck after they brought it back. They had a.
Okay.
I got to have you tell the story about the can opener. Literally, the side of it looked like somebody took a can opener and just opened the whole from the back door back across the bed. And when we put it on display at our event, I had to rope it off, not because I didn't want people to get close,
Because it was
because the
sharp?
metal
Oh,
was
yeah.
sticking out.
It was so sharp.
It was gnarly. So we had it out in Vegas, and he came out, and the first thing they told me was like, Scott, you can use the 1000 truck no better. Who's going to be there? Well, who's going to be there? Andy Bell. He cannot drive that truck anymore. That was my only stipulation to get the truck out there. So we put it on display, and everybody kept going, what happened to this thing? So it's a cool, funny story.
Yeah, what happened to it is I was long out of the truck when this happened to it, and my teammate, one of the teammates, Ted Monkier, who happened to be actually Baja Ted, he is actually the TRD engineer.
Yeah.
And he was the last guy to drive. We left him with about an hour or so lead. He had the last 8 hours to go, so he just had to get it
home.
Get the baby home.
Yeah.
Get the baby across the finish line. And he got to a place where I think a spec trophy truck was stuck in a silt bed.
Yeah.
And he saw there was a little gap between this trophy truck and a cactus, and he shot the gap. And he shot the gap pretty well, other than there was a two
He
bumper
obviously
hanging.
was staying in it.
Yeah, he stayed in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, there's one thing Ted's not scared to do is stay in
Put
it.
his foot into it,
He
yeah.
he puts a lot, and he's about 300. He's like a big man, so he puts a lot into it. I mean, that pedal was actually through the floor, and it caught the tube bumper of the trophy
Spec
truck.
The one that was stuck.
And the one that was stuck, and it tore down the entire side of the truck and can openered it.
It literally looks, like I said, if you would have put a can opener and just went like this, that's what it
Right.
literally looked like. And then when I brought it out, they're like, well, we're going to fix it. I mean, no, I want it just like
Like
that,
that, yeah.
how it came from the race. And they
Yeah.
shipped it out. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it was pretty good. It was we had fun. We had fun in that race. It was pretty cool, but it was pretty damn scary because we thought that it was done. All of a sudden, you're watching. I'm sitting in La Paz. You can't do anything when you're like, you did what you could do.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
lead, and then you sit there for another 20 hours
Oh.
and just nervously
Just wondering
sit
what's
there and you
happening.
watch. Yeah, and you watch. You can see the GPS moving, and all of a sudden it stopped.
Stops,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Right.
you're only 80 miles from the finish
Yeah.
line. What is going on? And then
But
you're
you
just
can't
dying.
barely trust that GPS either.
No, it's terrible. But
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, please be
Please
okay.
be a glitch. Please be a glitch.
So anyway, we made it. We won.
But it was a cool.
No big deal.
That
No
truck's
big
on
deal.
my all-time
We
We
favorite.
just won.
I'm just saying.
BJ and I were both, Baja champions. So,
We can really relate. There's some stuff we can relate to.
Win, no matter what.
Sing it, GL. Sing it. Drop it. When are you taking that thing to South Africa, man? Let GL take you on the game reserve.
I would love to do that.
Be cool, something different, with it down there.
I
know
yeah.
your boy TP was just down there, and he looked like he was having a blast. He loves it.
I don't think I'm allowed back at J Bay because I did ride big GS 1200 into a bar down in J Bay and did a burnout in a bar.
I would have.
And I don't know if they thought that was funny or not.
I was going to say, in some places you'd be like
Celebrated.
royalty moving forward. They'd
Well,
have a plaque for you on the wall.
I do feel at least half the patrons thought it was funny.
Oh, for sure.
But maybe the
I
other
know
half
South Africans, they were like, yo, bro. Like,
yeah, bro. Hey, I thought it was funny, but I'm Canadian. I
Hey,
don't know.
there's a little video of you on that thing taking your lady out to dinner or something, doing stand-up wheelies. Is that really how you guys get down?
Yeah, I just tell her just to shut up and hang on and pop the odd wheelie. Date night wheelie night.
You wish. I have a feeling she has a different story about how that went down.
She likes it, I think. I tell myself that about that and other things.
it's like foreplay.
Family show. It's a family show.
You got to reel these two in,
Yeah,
definitely.
We could go down a
This
rabbit
could
hole.
go off the cliff. How's our buddy Matto right now coming in
Oh,
with a
Matto.
grin?
Oh, look at that guy.
Fresh white tea.
Sexy man, that guy is.
That's trouble. Should we dare put him on the
Yeah,
air
yeah,
with
that'd be
you?
bad. That would be bad.
This is like
Oh, geez.
This is like the United Nations
cliff.
We
right
could
now.
talk about the first time Matto and I met 18 years ago and
We just went
questions
off
he
the
asked
cliff.
me. And
Now remember, it's a family show. Some of the stories they were telling me backstage, man. You know what I mean? You got to remember the audience. But I like the stories, though.
Belly up over here, bud.
Come on up here. Come on up here.
Put that thing next to your mouth. I didn't mean to start you guys. Calm down.
I had no comment to that one.
None of us do. We're professionals.
Seriously, put it.
Dan, we're professionals. You don't have to tell us what to do.
Oh, for
Look at
sure.
us.
You guys, man, professional.
I mean, we're not.
Doesn't
panel.
begin to describe it.
We're not professionals like.
Okay, cool. Super cool.
What's up, Bill?
Oh, buddy,
Good to
miss
see
you.
Yeah.
Ah, you look good as always.
Thank you.
Sometimes
Good for
I wish I-
radio, huh?
Yeah, I think we all have a face for radio here, except GL. He looks good on TV.
He does.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
With the right filter.
Hashtag
The
no
black
filter.
one, the lens cap filter.
Matto, what are you doing, brother?
Well, I'm out here at SEMA 2017, obviously, with the rest of you folks, and being brought out here with the crew from Linex.
Nice.
So got a display up in the south building upstairs at the Linex. My bike that rides on the waters up there. So
Looks
suggest-
good, man. I got to tell you, when you guys see that thing close and personal, it looks really, really good.
Hey.
I like even how they Linex the skis and the plastic and all that. It looks good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's actually like the product that is got a lot of protection qualities, and it's proved to be awesome for the water bike. You know, we got it on the frame, on the swing arm to act against corrosion, and then on the skis it kind of just makes it a little bit more bulletproof. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome, and I've also been hanging out with Kenny Five here from 0 to 60 Designs. Kenny's got that badass
he built that
Camry down there,
the blue one.
the blue one. Yeah.
Mint. That thing's money. Hey, you got to see Andy Bell's trying to break into your water slide dirt bike thing, and it's pretty funny actually.
Yeah, I do big water skims too, like 35 feet.
I know Bell's always doing crazy stuff. What are you up to this time?
Show him the video,
No,
man. Show
I
him.
just,
Come on.
I got asked.
It's almost
to
embarrassing
do,
to show him.
I know. Well, I got asked to do a water skim, but it was in a. Oh, that's my. I didn't have a Hans device, so I made a Franz device to jump to jump with. It's basically a pool noodle around my neck. But I had to jump over, or I had to skim this little pool. And I know this is bad podcast etiquette right now to be showing.
Oh, nice. You made it.
Yeah, it was like a 10-foot deep pool in the middle of nowhere that I had to just hit.
With like an 8-inch drop on each side.
Yeah, a
inch
really
in
terrible
and out.
drop on it. And, I mean, I survived, but I was channeling my inner Matto the entire time. I'm like, what? WWMD. What would Matto do?
Yeah.
What would Matto do here? And so
I
I
probably
just
would have
went,
put skis on there, but you just went like Canadian style, huh?
yeah, well, I called Travis, which is probably a bad person to call, but I'm like, hey, what do you think? He's like, ooh.
Just,
I'm like, was that a good ooh or a bad ooh?
I know. I said if Travis goes, ooh, then you probably know there's a problem. But you know what? He's still going to send it.
I'm going to send it. Me and Larry.
Hey, for those of us that didn't happen to catch what just went down, we just got a fourth guest here, and it is none other than Robbie Maddison, who has done some amazing things here in the city of Las Vegas. I would say that you deserve a key to this city, and someone needs the petition to make that happen if you don't already have that.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I just need to find someone to hold it for me because I'll lose it for sure.
So there's the big Arctic Triumph. There's the distance jumps.
Yeah, Rio Casino, jumped the football field.
And you did it twice, right?
Yeah, end zone to end zone.
And the second time was a little like, uh-oh.
It was shady. The guys at ESPN hired and fired everyone that night. So they fired everyone when I said I was going to jump it again, and everyone got a bonus when I landed successful. So it made for some good TV, but went against protocol.
Have you ever hired this guy to do one of your deals there, Mr. Bell?
No, because we don't do anything cool like what he does.
Okay.
He actually
One day
does
we will
cool
work
stuff.
together, right?
We will.
Sweatpants Media.
It has been.
Can't wait to see that check.
I can't wait to write that check. Actually, yeah, we don't do cool stuff like
Yeah,
what
you
Robbie
do.
does. I don't ride on water more than 35 feet. That's the limit. 35 feet. If we can do Pipe Dream 3 in 35 feet, I'm totally in as a stunt double.
What about taking that to the Arctic Sea?
Yeah, we could get you barreled in Iceland.
There you go. Well, I'm working on a new phase for the bike that's going to be more user-friendly and hopefully be able to let people, the masses, ride it. That is my goal. I want to make it so the bikes will be somewhat more waterproof. So we've got a lot of work going on. Actually working with Kenny from 0 to 60 Designs with that, because Kenny's the man if you want to do anything crazy in the automotive or bike industry. He's the guy that can make any kind of wild idea come true. So we've got some 3D modeling going on and some scanning and putting some wild ideas to practice. But hopefully, early next year, we're going to be doing some cool stuff on the water that hasn't been done before. So I'd like to get you out there, Bill. At least we can see. Be good product testing if like heavy, strong,
Canadian, fat,
heavy.
Canadian. Just us Canadians are big boned. I mean, I'm not really that fat. I guess I'm just big boned, festively plump.
You're pleasantly plump.
Pleasantly, it's not. Yeah, I'll put it to the test. I'm only like 230. I'm not that big.
Yeah, I've seen you break pool furniture in one swipe. So,
Matto and I have traveled the world together. Probably, what year was that? We probably met like
06, 07?
Yeah, so we've been around the world to some really weird places together.
And I was like his little crash
you,
test
Red Bull.
dummy.
Yes. Hey,
Matto,
try
Matto
this.
through some pool furniture.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't try and wrestle a drunk Canadian.
Yeah, there you go. I learned my lesson.
We win an Australian, a Canadian, and a South African.
Multinational board right here.
It sounds like the start of a joke. So there's an Australian, a Canadian, and a South African, and they all walked into a bar. That's
Hey,
not
wait,
a joke.
we should.
That always happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say that happens all the time. Could happen right now.
It's not really a joke. It's more of a horror story.
Yeah, exactly.
That is actually true.
What is the wildest, SEMA appropriate story that comes to mind with this guy right here? Let it go.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. We've just had some crazy. I think the first time we met was in Prague,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
we were on a road trip, a 2-week road trip from. Somehow I talked KTM into giving us a bunch of bikes and a bunch of sprinters, and we road tripped from a freestyle contest in Prague down to.
This was back when you were jumping.
Yeah, this is when I was still.
Budapest.
Yeah, well, we went to some old bomb factory that had a supercross track inside it in
Indoors.
Volery, Czech Republic.
That's right.
Then we went to Madigofen to the KTM factory, and then we went to Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah.
And we were on a 2-week road trip with like 8 or 10 of us riders, and
And it was my first trip out of the country, total virgin, and
in more ways than one, probably.
hung out with Belle, and I survived. That was cool. We actually went back to Prague a few times, and it's always a good show down there with our buddy Merrick, and it's
Gladiator Games. They just had it last weekend.
yeah.
Did you get Prague tattooed on your butt?
No.
A few of the guys did.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Mike Mason and Jeff Fair. I think Mike Mason has PRA, and then Jeff Fair has GUE.
Because they always stand butt to butt, right?
Because they always stand naked butt to butt.
Oh, jeez.
There goes
good.
the line. There goes the line. I knew it was coming.
We can talk about butts around here. We're all men. Ish.
It's all
Actually,
good. It's all good,
speaking about Madikov, I got a quick funny story. So, that's where obviously KTMs are made. And in 2000, I ended up winning the World Championship on KTM, and they have a big after party there. And they invite, like half the town shows up, all the staff, all the teams. There's thousands of people. And in their big warehouse, they move out a lot of their production bikes and put on this big stage and a big event. So, of course, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And
This is all for me.
I'm the man of the moment, kind of. I mean, they did it for a lot of people because, they won everything in off-road and all that good stuff. But, of course, and welcome to the stage, Grant Langston. I come up on a wooden stage, and I'm being a hero, full burnout. Smoke alarm goes off, and the sprinklers came on and flooded the entire place. There's like 3,000 people running for the exits, and I was like, way to go from here to zero in like 0.1 seconds. I thought I was done. I was like, they'll never hire me ever again. Fortunately, they were like, yeah, it was awesome.
No, they love
And
that.
I was like, sweet.
There is no place like the KTM factory for parties. I don't know what it's like anymore since I haven't been doing much of that in the last, 6-7 years. But back in the day, it used to get so rowdy there.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to.
I remember the early days because I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You were there in those days. But I one time I talked Ben Townley and Tyler Rattray into letting me drive the rental car with them in the back seat. They were both 16. And they jumped in the back seat, and I jumped.
I knew they weren't the sharpest tools in the shed, but I didn't know they were that dumb.
I didn't really give them a choice. I'm like, hey, where's your car? Oh, it's over here. Okay, jump in the back. Let's go. Because I just taught them how to jump ramps, actually, that day. So I was still, like, in their good graces. And we go out and moto around the track in their, like, little car, rental car. I hit some jumps in it. They're freaking out. I drive into the beer tent and drive through with the e-brake locked. Right. And everyone's like, cheering because that's what they do when you do anything in the beer tent. They love it there. I mean, even
And
Mr.
hence the
Pierre,
word
like,
beer tent.
yeah, like the owner of KTM, Mr. Pierre, like he's there like cheersing and stuff.
Yeah.
Go through the whole beer tent, go out the other side, and then Eva, who was our marketing girl there,
I remember her.
was so angry at me. She like chases me out and she started yelling at me. And Ben,
This is like a scene straight out of Happy Gilmore.
yeah, it basically was. And then Ben and Tyler both, like that year, one of them won the world championship. I don't remember which one. Tyler probably. They like sneak backwards, like step by step, and start running into the dark. And I'm just getting yelled at by the marketing girl from KTM. So yeah, this is good old days.
Yeah, Andy Bell's a legend in Europe. It's should I tell him the Herbie story?
I don't know
Maybe
if
not.
that.
But
Well,
we-
if you can say it without saying it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can.
No, well, I went there, and these guys from Germany brought me over, and that's actually was my first trip to Europe. Was that one, and he's like, you know Andy Bell, and I said no, and he's like, oh, he's got a giant member, you know. Giant member, but it's like I had to say it, but anyway, it's but Bell, we did a lot of events out there in Germany, and it seemed everywhere you went, it was like there's just the tales of Andy Bell. But,
The tales of Andy Bell.
Oh,
but those were
yes.
some good days. Freestyle motocross. It's
When freestyle motocross was freestyle.
yeah, it was a good time for sure.
What a treat! What a treat! How much of your new bike for going into the ocean you want to talk about? You want to talk any details, or just we're going to drop the bomb on somebody in a year from now? What's the
It's,
strategy?
To be honest, it was just an idea I had, probably 6 years ago. Made it happen with the help of a guy called Bill King out of Montana and
How
Idaho.
many views is that
Idaho.
thing worth these days?
It's like YouTube on all social platforms. It's gone over 100 million, so it's done super well. I think like the global impressions was something like 500 million. So
Wow.
it was a big one. But trying to one up it, I always had this vision of being able to do more than I did on the first film, and the goal was to always get a barrel on the wave. And I've had a few tries at it now and been unsuccessful, and just little things have kind of been issues. But it's kind of put me in a position now where I can't just leave something half done. I've just been brought up to always give it your all, and at whatever cost, you got to finish the job. So here I am, 5 years in, and I run into Kenny here from 0 to 60 Designs, and also a friend of mine, Jordan Darling. He's from he just made the world's first electric jet ski and successfully launched that. So between us, another guy called Alex Bock, we're all kind of coming together, and we're building the next level bike, and the goal for it is to be able to have people experience it themselves. It's such a great thing to do. I have so much fun. It's such a crazy thing when you ride from the land onto the water and then rip along. And
Right.
the new bike won't go on the land just because it kind of poses some problems, and I want to be environmentally kind of respectful too. So, but soon in the future we're going to have a new thing and hopefully a new video, and probably my goal is to be able to do stuff that hasn't been done before, and I want to be able to share it with everyone. So, help of some really skillful guys, we're going to create a new vehicle for the water.
I want you to make something that you can take to a place like the Box.
Yeah. Well, I think this will be the craft for it. It's going to be
You guys familiar with
Next
the
level.
Box?
No,
No,
you're
I'll
talking
got
to.
it.
No,
I mean, I know the box, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
It's a
I don't even know that one.
It's a slab surf spot in Western Australia. You got to look it up.
probably the nut. Is that the right? Is it the same
Yeah,
wave?
yeah, same wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. People have died there. I think
It's wild. It's wild. Look up Ryan Hipwood.
a lot of people have said if you're going to do something and want to impress the surfers, go to the right or the box and ride that one. But it's I think in the next few months here we should have something that's gonna. I just want to.
Because you're not going to go back to Fiji with it.
I
said
am.
something like
I'm
that.
gonna.
You will go back.
I'm gonna develop the bike to the next level. So when I go back, it's environmentally friendly. We don't need like all the boats and not such an expensive production.
Gotcha.
And I want to go back there and do something impressive that I can be proud of, and also leave something that people can go and experience. The goal for this is to be able to have a kit that people can buy and put on their KTM and go ride in the water, and at the same time protect the bike, not have it exposed, to the.
So it'll be things like crossing the channel, like riding it up the Nile. Like there'll be some
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stuff
it's,
like that you can do on that
You
bike.
better
be a
be
lot to
brave
do.
if you're going up the Nile.
Been a lot of
Tip over. You might,
Yeah,
might not be able to tell the
Hey,
story.
what about that wave in China, like
Yeah.
the surge wave? That'd be pretty cool.
there's a lot of cool things you do on it for sure. There's been a lot of people copy the concept, and I think I'm ahead of the pack as far as taking it to the next level. So
I haven't really seen the people out there just rigging it out of the garage yet. There's
yeah,
people doing
there's
it.
people. Unfortunately, one guy was drowned doing it. So it's yeah.
Well, here's the thing too, which I think a lot of people don't think about, but when you're out there with all your gear on and you do go down, I mean that's
In moto
a
boots
lot
in the
of
water.
weight.
Yeah, you
now
can't
you can't
swim in moto boots.
Yeah, and
You
you got a
can't
helmet.
swim for sure. And I think, people probably don't realize I'm wearing a life jacket and an inflatable one as well underneath there. So I have a lot of buoyancy. And I think the young kid that drowned wasn't wearing a life jacket. And, it's a sad thing. But, at the end of the long story short is we're not letting it go. I want to develop it here quickly and finish what I started and get that bike inside a wave.
Well, that's what I love about Matto too, is he's actually, for all what the outsider would think are all these crazy stunts that he's done, he's a very calculated man.
Yeah.
And really puts in, you still have that Huckett thing that you need in the end, but you do the work and you do the research and you do the piece at a time to make sure that you're safe for your wife and family.
Exactly.
And for the rest of us that want to hang out with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be able to not just have it so people are like, oh, whatever happened to that thing, it's sort of on the wave and then it just disappeared. I want to be able to finish it, and now I have an avenue through some talented guys to do that, so I'm excited.
What was the stunt of all the stunts, the Arc de Triomphe, all the New Year's Eve stuff that you've done, the Greece one, the side by side in San Diego in the fog? That was pretty radical.
Yeah.
What was the one that really had your skin crawling the most?
I think the Arc de Triomphe in Vegas for sure was like the gnarliest thing that I've done, but that was really a prerequisite because when I got out to Turkey and I jumped the Corinth Canal, it was such a do or die jump, and I asked for a parachute, and luckily the late legendary Eric Rona sent me a parachute, and it was bright red, and at the time I had a complex with the color red. I wasn't wearing it for anything I was doing, and so to me, it was a sign that I didn't need the parachute. I thought, this is the universe telling me that I got this. So I went and I just hucked the jump we actually practiced it across town. So I was able to kind of get a run in and estimate the speed I needed. And then when we did our kind of calculations at the site, we knew that I wasn't getting enough speed. And so we kind of knew that I was going to be everything I got to just make it to the other side. And it was a 300-foot deep hole over a 300-foot gap. And so it was kind of
wild.
It was
Visually, it was
scary.
wild looking.
It was scary, but I kind of to me, what I go through in my head is like I dreamed of having this opportunity as a child, and now I'm presented with the opportunity, and so to step back for it, I think it's something that I would never be able to understand as I moved on and became an older man. Like why, I needed to understand whether my whole life whether I was worthy of this dream or not. So it helped me to be able to just turn the mind off and go and realize the dream. I put a lot of work in. I knew that the odds were on my side to make it, and fortunately I made it the one time. They said, you want to jump again? I said, no way. So that was it. That was it.
Why?
That was how
I
I
just did it.
It did it.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to press record.
Yeah.
Well, then just take pictures with your mind.
But yeah, it's been a good career.
I think there's something from your childhood of just growing up, spending time actually down a path of like being an electrician and some stuff that was where you were going to have to say goodbye to the dream that you were living on the inside and weren't going to start that. And I don't think that's ever really left you. Certainly in your work ethic, it seems like it hasn't.
Yeah, I've been I've faced my death many times. I was pronounced dead as a kid, 16 months old. I had croup and stopped breathing, and not pronounced dead, but like heart stopped beating. They revived me.
Yeah.
And it's happened 5 more times since then. I had meningitis, and after I recovered from meningitis, I decided that I wanted to follow my dream. I kind of came to the terms I wasn't going to be a bike rider, and I went and started being an electrician. And after 6 years of an electrician, I got super sick. And then when I came back, I was like, life, you only get one shot at life. And my dream as a kid was to always ride my bike and be known for it. And so I wanted to have a shake at it. And I thought, if it doesn't work out, luckily I had a house that I had bought when I was a kid, and I had some equity there, so I had a backup plan, funded myself to go and realize this dream, and it worked out for me. So it's been a crazy journey, but one that I wouldn't change it for the world.
It has been a crazy journey. We couldn't even, we don't have enough time to even get into all the layers of the whole thing. We got your Pipe Dream 1 on the screen behind us right now. This is Matto. That entry is amazing. We're not going to see that obviously with the new bike.
No.
We talked about how much core strength it takes to manage this bike, especially in the surf. Could you speak on some of what you're going through right here?
It actually is. It's pretty easy to ride now. I've worked for 3 or 4 years developing, just playing with the design of it, and it works really good. But you're right. When I rode it 20 miles, it was super fatiguing. You're on your feet the whole time. You're kind of fighting it. But back in these days when we shot this part, it was hard to ride that bike. It was hard to turn it, and it was you struggled a lot. But we got to a point now where I can ride it as slow as 20 mile an hour, and I can do 60 mile an hour top speed. So it's definitely more efficient now, and it's definitely more user-friendly, and it's at the point now where I think anyone who can ride a dirt bike could get on it and just rip it around. So that's what I always wanted to do, was to get it where I could share it with people, and I think we're fast approaching the time when we can kind of create a time to get, legends like Grant Langston and Andy Bell and even Dan McGranahan out there and have a rip around. But we should, that's the plan for me, and I want to...
Do you think having surf knowledge is a benefit in this scenario?
Definitely helps.
Or is it all motorbike stuff?
It's definitely a motorcycle feel when you're on flat water, and once you start mixing with the waves, you need to be able to read the waves. But I spent a lot of time surfing as a child, which helped out a lot, and then I've also owned a jet ski for a couple of years, and I've kind of, knowing that this is in my future, I started going out and riding jet skis in the ocean a lot just so I could get the timing down, and definitely helped out. But it's definitely something now that it's user-friendly, and I can't wait to share it with the world and let other people ride it. I think it's we're, like I said before, we're crossing the hurdles and want to make it so it's obviously environmentally friendly, and the bike's going to be not going to damage the bike. Because right now, the way it is on this film, it doesn't really make sense at all for people to go out and convert their bike and do that, because you're going to destroy it. But
right.
We have a vision of how to get through these hurdles, and I'm excited to kind of reach that next
So
frontier.
kind of like with the snow, where you can bolt on the track system, you'll be able to basically take a dirt bike that is in relatively stock form and put a conversion kit on it.
100%. That's the model. With the snow bikes industry is now in X Games, and it's been something that's kind of developed quickly, and I think that there's no reason why we can't do that in this scenario, and I think it's exciting. There's obviously hurdles to get by with registered bikes and getting water, permission and stuff like that. But it's when there's a will, there's a way. I've been working on this long enough now where I got to finish it, so it's going to happen.
Nice.
So you wrecked a couple times doing this, especially then, and even had to go try to find the bike, and you had some wild experiences paving the way for this process.
Yeah, we never lost the bike, but I've lost it for a period of time. But we've always
temporarily misplaced.
Yeah, got it. Yeah,
somewhere down there, the bottom of the ocean.
Definitely, and it's out there in Fiji. I actually went missing for 5 minutes when that big wave took me down. That was probably one of the scariest moments I've been in. I kind of gave up. I just thought that I was drowning, and
that's a horrible feeling.
It's a bad feeling in motocross gear, but I said at that point I probably shouldn't do it anymore, and then I went back to Fiji, and I never ended up getting the wave, which I think was meant to be, because I knew I was playing with fire. But
right.
Moving forwards, this next development, I think it'll be something you'll be able to wear trunks and maybe a wetsuit and probably definitely a life jacket.
So you're gonna take the spikes off the foot plant deal, off the pegs?
Yeah. It's going to be...
You're going to make it a lot friendlier.
It's going to be a hybrid motorcycle watercraft.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see it.
So you think you can double that thing? You think you're going to be able to get, air out of the...
That's my goal, is freestyle motocross on the water. I know there's a lot of people that want to do
fun.
freestyle motocross that don't want to crash in the dirt, and I think this is going to be the perfect tool for people to ride a bike recklessly and try stuff that, that could be safer in the world. It's never going to be safe, but it's...
Sure.
I think the future's bright. I think it's going to be something that we'll have a lot of fun on.
So Andy Bell might have a whole nother career coming his way.
Yeah, hey, if I don't get hurt, I'll totally do freestyle motocross. I just got sick of getting hurt, and I wasn't good at it. So I had two things against me.
What was the most advanced trick for you in your career? What was your biggest trick?
I mean, in a competition, probably like double grabs or something. Like, I don't even think I could do double grab like Indian airs. I think I could do double grabs.
You rode great though. Bell was always like such a good guy to travel with. He made the party and definitely life at the party. But he'd go out. Andy. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, you see my half attack?" Because everyone's doing a heart attack. He'd go that half attack, and then
at least he was honest with himself.
What was
right?
the other one?
Oh, the Canadian Saran Wrap.
The Canadian Saran Wrap.
I had some good ones for sure, But for me, it was just more. I got to travel around. I was never planning or trying to be the best. I just like the party better. And hey, we got paid to travel the world.
Yeah, have a great time
and make lifelong friends. And I don't have any world championships, so unfortunately, I'm not very good sitting at this table with this guy.
But I still think you have bigger tricks than Grant does.
Hey, don't you remember what? Didn't you do like a heel clicker and lose at Supercross?
No, it wasn't even that cool.
Oh, you looked at the crowd or something?
Whip one-hander, and
whip
I crashed afterwards.
That was on a Husky,
it was
wasn't
my
it?
first win.
No, it was KTM.
Husky ended up winning.
Oh, that's right. What's his name? Travis.
I'd say my best trick is, and I've executed it perfectly many a time, is a backflop.
The back flop. You're good at that. You
really
were good at
nailed that one several times.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
What about you, Matto? Of all the tricks, and you obviously have a huge, deep bag of tricks that you've perfected. Which ones do you feel like was the most complicated? Which one do you feel like was the most advanced?
The hardest one for me was the body varial.
The vault.
Vault.
Yeah.
So, I guess Chuck Carruthers was the first one to kind of play with that. And then Kyle Loza took it to X Games and gold medaled on it. And then a couple of years later, I took it to X Games and I did that trick and landed side saddle, which was... I
remember that. That was cool.
Yeah, kind of... I'd never done it before, and I was in best trick, and I was like, I've got to add something. I broke my wrist the day before. I had a cortisone injection, and every part of my being was like, I just wanted to get a medal, and I thought I had a trick that could get gold, and I did something that had never been done before, and I still got gypped at the gold. But I was pumped that my buddy Cam Sinclair won it with the double flip. It's probably a gnarlier trick for sure, but it's.
But to X Games history, the double flip had actually was older than the vault.
It won It'd been done 5 years in a row, so I thought a new trick would outdo it. But it's no hard feelings. We had a great time in those days, and. For sure, the body varial was the hardest, but the most enjoyable one for me is just a good old-fashioned whip. I think everyone, a bike rider, we can all share that. You start doing tricks and people get a little upset when you one-up them. So everyone can have fun doing whips all day. It's like you go to the hills, ride with your friends, and it's like it never gets old. And it's I think it's like when you have your best days.
If I never saw another Superman seat grab Mickey Mac thing, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me if I never saw anyone doing a freestyle motocross trick again, but I could watch whip still.
The thing is, I was just going to say, I feel like the whole whip game has just really elevated in the last few years. I mean, they're going upside down, backwards. And half the time, like my girlfriend said the one day, she goes, well, wouldn't it just be easier to continue and just do the barrel roll? Yeah. And I'm like, not really.
There's like this
inertia
wall
That's
that
right.
you hit.
Yeah. The inertia, for sure.
These guys, watching Best Whip these days is absolutely Matto used to have a turn down that made me,
he has monster
cringe.
turn down skills.
They made me cringe. Like, can he get that back? And it was like half of where they are now.
Yeah.
Even Renner back in the 10 years ago.
I saw Renner. He's here.
Little Renner's walking around.
He's sitting at a booth somewhere.
Don't tell him that I did a hydro skim on his bike.
You figure it out when it's corroded, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, cool, guys. I'm going to head back up to the Linex booth. If anyone wants to come talk to me.
What a treat, man.
Linex South Building. I'm upstairs, and I'd love to talk to all you guys. But, thanks for having me on here.
Andy, what a treat to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome to see you guys, and what a little surprise to see Mr. Matto.
Well, we'll catch up for dinner later. Maybe a beverage.
Okay,
thanks, Dan.
maybe one.
See you, buddy.
Good.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down, gents.
You're a legend, mate.
Likewise. Oh, you had to do that, didn't you?
Thanks, bro.
You.
Yep. We'll see ya.
Cheers.
All right. Well, on behalf of the Action Sports Show, we have had a great time at SEMA 2017. There is a chance we will come back. We got a couple people that we're working on, but if not, we love you. For myself, Dan McGranahan, and my co-host, Grant Langston.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Toyota. Thanks, everyone. Dan, great job. Thanks for coming out and listening.
We may be back,
Possibly.
and we may not. Much love.
Ciao for now.